Hello, welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric, and today we're going to revisit a series that we had started last year but had not finished. Got a whole bunch of other stuff going on, and we decided to get that back going today, at least for a little while. It's technically not going to be the same name. It's the 50th anniversary of the Impossible Dream season, 1967. Technically, it's 51 years now, but we're going to continue with the 50th anniversary series. This is a game from May 21st of 1967, and we figured we'd get it back started with a Boston Red Sox team since they were the reason for the Impossible Dream season. So we played all Boston and Cleveland games up until now. So we're going to do a game. This is the second game of a doubleheader. So we're going to get this one started. It's going to be Bucky Brandon going for the Boston Red Sox against Sam McDowell for the Cleveland Indians. We got all the pictures loaded and everything. Unfortunately, the stadium would not load, which is really bizarre because we did load the 1961 season, Fenway Park in there. And we used the same exact photo with the same exact, spelled exactly the same way, and put it in the 1967 folder. In this inside pitch, you have to put it in the ballpark folder. And we've gotten other ballparks to load, but for some reason, the Fenway Park works in the 1961 season, spelled the same exact way. And the 1967 does not seem to work in. So I don't know if it was a typo or something like that, maybe, because with this, you have to have the exact same spelling, so maybe it was a typo or something, or who knows. But anyway, we do not have the stadium loaded, but every other picture should be loaded and ready to go. We even adjusted them to all, make sure they're all the 1967, right, with the right team, because we also played the 1961 season. We have that one going also, as well as a couple other seasons. So anyway, but those are probably the only ones that would overlap and have players of the same era. A few from 1978 and 67, but we really haven't played that much into the 1978 season. But anyway, enough blabbing there. So let's get this game underway here. For the Cleveland Indians, going up against Bucky Brandon is going to be Lee May, the right fielder. Max Elvis, the third baseman, will bat second. He'll be followed by Chunk Hinton, the center fielder. Leon Wagner is batting cleanup and playing left. Fred Whitfield is the first baseman, hitting fifth. Duke Sims, behind the plate, will hit sixth. The second baseman, Pedro Gonzalez, hits seventh. Larry Brown, the shortstop, will hit eighth. And Sam McDowell on the mound will bat ninth. For the Red Sox, the outfield is going to be Yastrzemski, Smith, and Tartable. Yastrzemski, excellent defensively in left with a very low error rating. Smith in center, above average with very low error rating. And Tartable in right with below average defense, but extremely good error rating, will not commit any errors. And Yastrzemski with the best arm in left. Slightly above average, Smith and Tartable average. In the infield, Foy, Petrocelli, Andrews, and Scott. Foy, Butch Hobson-esque numbers with a at third base defensively, so very similar type player. Very bad defensively, but with some power. Will commit quite a few errors. Petrocelli above average range. Above average error rating, slightly above average error rating. Andrews average, and Scott above average at first. Behind the plate is Gibson, who's below average defensively, will not commit any errors, and has a above average arm behind the plate. So that's your defense behind Brandon. Brandon average range. Average defensively will commit the average amount of errors compared to his other pitchers. So Brandon comes in with a 3-2 record on the season with a 3.21 earned run average. Has pitched 53 1/3 innings, allowed 52 hits, 29 strikeouts, and 18 walks. So hitting first for the Cleveland Indians is going to be Lee May. Comes in hitting .250 with 4 runs batted in. And we are playing all the games of the season, so the stats are accurate, up to date, unlike the 1961 season, in which we're just playing the actual Red Sox games. So our plan is to complete the entire league for the 1967 season. All right, so Bucky Brandon looks in for the sign from Gibson. Here's a windup in the pitch to May. And he will strike out May for the first out of the game. So a very good start for Brandon and the Red Sox. Next up, Max Elvis comes in hitting .226 with 4 homers and 9 runs batted in. And that's going to be off the pitcher's card. That's going to be a ground ball to third. Foy makes the play over to Scott for out number 2. Oh, and I guess we didn't get Chuck Hinton's picture fixed, but that's all right. Not a big deal. .237 average with 2 homers and 12 runs batted in. He might not have played in the first couple games of the series, so that's why he was not fixed. 4-3. And that is going to be a fly out to left. Alright, and we have fixed Chuck Hinton's picture. And we head to the bottom of the first with Cleveland nothing, the Red Sox coming up. Alright, so Sam McDowell on the mound for the Indians. He's got a 4-3 record so far in the season, 3.49 earned average. Has pitched 49 innings, allowed 32 hits, 49 strikeouts, and 20 walks. The Red Sox lineup against McDowell is going to be Jose Tartabull, the right fielder, will bat first. Reggie Smith, the center fielder, will hit second. The captain, Carl Yastrzemski, the Triple Crown winner in 1967, who's having a fine season. We'll let you know his stats when we get to him. Will bat third and play left. The cleanup hitter is the boomer, George Scott, first baseman. Shortstop, Rico Petrocelli, will bat fifth. Joe Ford is the third baseman, hitting sixth. Mike Andrews, second baseman, will bat seventh. Behind the plate, Russ Gibson hits 8th, and Bucky Brandon on the hill will bat 9th. So the defense behind McDowell is going to be Wagner, Hinton, and May. Pretty subpar defense there, especially Wagner in left, who's only got a 1 rating. May, slightly below average defensive rating. Hinton, average. Very low error rates for all 3 of them, though, with May having a below average arm and Wagner in left having a slightly below average arm also. And Miss Mags has joined us here, saying hi to all her fans here. She always seems to come, let's get in my lap during the game here. Mags off camera. So, alright, let's see here, where were we? Okay, the infield, Elvis, Brown, Gonzalez, and Whitfield, all average defensively. With all 8s for error range, 8 out of 20, so slightly above average there. Whitfield the best at first with just a 4 rating. Behind the plate, Sims is below average defensively with a slightly higher than average error rate and a below average arm. McDowell commits a ton of errors on the hill, but overall is average defensively as far as being able to get to the ball. Alright, so that is your infield behind defense behind McDowell. Fenway Park has average as far as Ks, no adjustment to strikeouts, and a -1 to walks. So all ratings will be adjusted accordingly with average home run ratings of 0 for 1967. So McDowell looks in for the sign from Sins. Here's the windup in the pitch. Lefty on lefty. 4-2. And it's a possible error on a throw if it's hit to the on the infield. 4-3. And that's going to be a base hit. But with Brown, infield hit for Tartabull. No error on Brown. Tartabull beats it out. So a run on first with nobody out. For Reggie Smith, who later going to play with the Dodgers, hitting .268 with 4 homers and 15 runs batted in. Dow looks the runner back, kicks and delivers. And he avoids the walk there, but Smith fights it off for a base hit. Tartabull will hold at second. So runners on first and second. So the Red Sox got something going here in the first right away. And it's going to be a pickoff throw to second. And no, Tartabull's just back safely under the tag. The daylight play. So Yastrzemski up now. Let's take a look at his stats. Hitting .347 on the season, so off to a fast start here. 12 homers and 35 runs batted in, so good chance for him to get the Triple Crown, which he did in the actual season. So Yastrzemski comes up with runners on first and second, nobody out. Here's the windup in the pitch by McDowell, working out of the stretch. And he will walk Yastrzemski to load the bases. So the Red Sox load the bases with nobody out here in the first for the boomer, George Scott. He's off to a fine start, too. Hitting .333 on the season with 3 homers and 17 runs batted in. .303 on the actual season. .401. And McDowell will get him swinging for out number 1. Next up, Rico Petrocelli. Struggling so far in the season, hitting just .228 with 4 homers and 17 runs batted in. .259 on the actual season. Here's the pitch. And back-to-back strikeouts. So McDowell went out a way of getting out of the jam here with no damage. But he'll have to face Joe Foy, who's off to a great start, hitting .330 with 3 homers and 14 runs batted in 100 at-bats. So he's already got 33 hits on the season. Here's the windup and the pitch to Foy. And he is going to walk Foy. So bases loaded walk. So he does not get out of it, but the Red Sox score a run. Let's see what Mike Andrews can do now. See if he can add to that lead. Comes in hitting .297 with 2 homers and 7 runs batted in. Oh, possible wild pitch here. And it's going to be a wild pitch by McDowell. And McDowell, who was almost out of the inning with no damage, walks a batter and now throws a wild pitch to score 2 runs. Put the Red Sox on top 2-0. So McDowell. So the runners move up. Yastrzemski to third, Foy to second. McDowell looks in for the sign from Sims. Kicks and delivers. And no question marks there. So 1-2 would have been a single off McDowell's card. 4-4. But it is going to be a base hit. And Foy and Yastrzemski scores. Foy is going to try to score. And he is going to be gunned down trying to score to end the inning. But the Red Sox managed to pick up 3 runs and lead at 3-0 after it looked like McDowell was going to get out of it. So we'll head to the top of the second now with Brandon facing Wagner, Whitfield, and Sims up by 3 runs now. Alrighty, so it'll be Wagner, Whitfield, and Sims up against Brandon. Red Sox with a 3-0 lead. Wagner comes in hitting .227 with 2 homers and 14 runs batted in on the season. 1-6, and that is going to be Boyd's the strikeout. I said it's going to be a ground ball to first. Scott will take it himself for the first out of the second. Next up, Fred Whitfield. He's off to a great start, hitting .309, hit just .218 for the actual season, with 4 homers and 15 runs batted in. Here's the pitch by Brandon. And it's going to be a ground ball to third. Foy's up with over to Scott for out number 2. And while I'm playing this game, check out Glory Days Boxing by Bleacher Bums Gaming. It's a fine game. I've watched a couple of fights there. 2 very different fights. Very good statistics on there. Very good flow to the game. I guess he's going to plan on releasing it towards the end of the summer. But check that out. And also, too, as it kind of made me think about what I like in games that I play, and primarily it's if I can see the stats. That's what I like to see. I like to see how the stats are generated. Like here for an outside pitch, you can see the actual rolls of the dice. You can see what they bring up and statistics and everything like that. I like that stuff where you can see the card. This is kind of like a board game, a video game of a board game. You can tell of a card game, dice and cards game, and you can see it. That's what I like about Strat, and that's what I like about other games like Digital Diamond Baseball, and any games that I primarily like. I can see the dice rolls and I can see the stats of the individuals or the teams. So that's what I like. Doesn't mean I don't like the other games. I just prefer to see the stats. I get a good feel for the engines that way. But yeah, and one thing I particularly like about inside pitch baseball is that it's the interaction, which I don't see in a lot of games. Is you roll for the pitcher. The pitcher starts the action, and the batter often finishes the action. Just kind of like, it's definitely like what real baseball is. So I kind of like the interaction between the cards and everything. How they work together, which is great. So anyway, back to the game. So top of the second, 2 down. Duke Sims up now. Sims struggling on the season, although he didn't have a great season anyway, hitting just 186 with 4 homers, but does have 4 homers and 7 runs batted in 19 games. Here's the pitch. 5-1. And what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this series, as well as for the rest of the season, is trying to, now that I've been able to, I know how to release and sign players and everything. That was one thing I had a little pet peeve about before, was having the players play with their teams. At the time, a lot of times there were a lot of blanks because they only put the players with one team, the team that they played the most games with in 1967. So I've gone in, I go into the box scores and try to make sure all the players that play, at least all the players that played in the game, are available to play in the game. If they're on other teams, I'll release and sign them on to teams they should be on for that particular day. So while the first a little over a month I didn't do that, I'm going to try to do that now and get a little more accuracy there. So all right, so we head to the bottom of the second. The Red Sox coming up to the plate. It's going to be Gibson, Brandon, and Tartable. Russ Gibson. It was on the DL for a couple of games. Now back in the lineup, hitting 208 with 2 runs batted in. 203 hitter on the actual season. And he will avoid the strikeout. And he'll ground out to Gonzalez at second for out number 1. So the pitcher Bucky Brandon up now. Not a bad hitting pitcher. 186 on the actual season. 222 in the replay so far with 3 runs batted in. This time he strikes out. So 2 up and 2 down for the Red Sox in the second. That'll bring up Jose Tartable. I believe he singled and scored. First Red Sox run, so 6-2. It's going to be a range play at Fenway Park. And that's going to be another base hit for Tartable. And, there's a range check there. So Wagner will not get to it. Wagner, very poor range. And he will end up at second with a double. Wagner was slow getting the ball in. So they're going to credit Tartable with a double. So his second hit of the day now. So run in scoring position with 2 down for Reggie Smith, who also singled and scored. So 1-4 as we hear a motorcycle outside here. And that is going to be a ground ball to third. And that'll do it for the Red Sox in the bottom of the second. So they do not score. So after 2 full, it's still 3-0 Boston. Bottom third of the other, Gonzalez, Brown, and McDowell up against Brandon. Brandon looks in for the Simon Gibson. Kicks and delivers. And he avoids the walk there. And it's going to be a ground ball to third. Foy up with it over to Scott for out number 1. So Larry Brown up now, the shortstop. 261 on the season so far with 2 homers and 10 runs batted in. And he does not strike out. Puts it in play and pops out to shortstop. So 2 down now for Sam McDowell. McDowell hitting just .056 on the season in 18 at-bats. Just 1 hit. Four, 6, and that's going to be a ground ball to second to end the inning. So after 2.5, it remains 3-0 Boston. Captain Kali, well, not the captain then, but Kali Yastrzemski, the rookie, not the rookie, think of the 1961 season, the Triple Crown winner, future Triple Crown winner, walked and scored his first time up. Oh, and this time it's a home run check, but too high there. It needs to satisfy that, and it falls outside of that. Because Yastrzemski has very good power against lefties and righties, but does not pan out this time. That's what's one cool about it, is that the home run question mark, you need to satisfy both off the pitchers and, so it's a combination and pitchers and hitters card, which is kind of the way it should be. There are some regular HRs. They might not be on his card though. Yes, there is actually. All right. So the HR here, so the HR without the question mark means it just has to satisfy the batter's card. So it doesn't have to satisfy both, but the home run question mark will have to satisfy the pitcher and the batter. So it's a little tougher. Combination of the pitcher's tendency to give up home runs and the batter's tendency to hit home runs. So 3-3. And it's going to be a fly ball to deep center, makes the catch. So Yastrzemski flies out to deep center. Brings up George Scott, who's struck out his first time up. And I get a range play here. And McDowell will not be able to get to it. No one would have got to it. 6. Everybody fails a 6 range check roll. So Scott will reach on a single, infield single. So 1 out and a runner on first, and the Red Sox going with a hit and run. Petrocelli struck out his first time up. Scott will be in motion. And he will strike out, so they're going to try to steal then, and Scott will be gunned down, so strike him out. Throw him out, double play. We'll end it for the Red Sox in the 3rd. So we head to the 4th inning now. Top of the order coming up. May, Elvis, and Hinton up against Brandon. May struck out his first time up. 2-5. 5-2. And that's going to be a ground ball to first. Scott flips to Brandon for out number 1. Max Elvis up now. We have a home run check. So here we go. Home run question mark. Satisfies the 1-20 here for the 4. We'll see if so. So we get a 60% chance. If he gets a 1 through 12, that will be a home run. And he breaks up the no-hitter, the shutout, and puts the Indians on the board all in one swing of the bat. So Elvis comes up with his 5th home run of the season. Put the Tribe on the board, 3-1 now. A little early to be thinking about a no-hitter, but that is gone by the wayside anyway now. So top of the 4th, so Brandon gets that out of the way anyway. I'm sure he wasn't even thinking about it at that point. And that'll bring up Chuck Hinton, 0 for 1, who flies out to Yastrzemski in left for out number 2. Next up, Wagner, who's 0 for 1. And he'll draw the walk. So Gibson will go out to talk to Brandon, try to settle him down. He goes back behind the plate. Whitfield up now, 0 for 1. And does not strike out. but we'll fly out to Smith and center to end the inning. The Indians get on the board on the solo homer by Elvis, and it's now 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Joy Foy will lead it off. He walked, and they had a bases loaded walk to put the Red Sox on the board. Well, to add to the Red Sox lead. 4-5. Actually, no, it was to put the Red Sox on the board. As Scott and Petrocelli, I think, both struck out. 4-5. And that is going to be a double. So Joe Foy gets a leadoff double here in the fourth. So Foy having a great day so far. I believe that's his third hit of the day. Second double. Actually, that wasn't him. That was somebody else. But anyway, he gets a double now. So he's on to lead it off here in the home half of the fourth. Mike Andrews. And I just want to say happy Memorial Day to everyone, to all those who served, and especially those who gave their lives so that we have the freedoms that we do in this country. That wouldn't be possible without that. So we thank you for that. Anyway, back to the action here. And I did notice too with History Maker Baseball on Play.com, they came out with a major leaguers, a best of, like an all-star team of the major leaguers who served, like Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams and Johnny Pesky and Stan Musial and so forth, each with their whatever service that they served, or the branch they served with. And it's pretty cool. They came out. You can print them out for free on Play.com. I have not played History Maker in a while. In fact, I've only got the 75 Reds versus Red Sox set there. And I do have a bunch of free sets that were on there from earlier times printed out, but I have not played it recently, so I have to get back into that. And I know they've come out with a few updates to that game too, so I'll have to check out that and think about maybe purchasing an update to the History Maker, which is a different type of baseball game, very based on stats, but more like qualities other than stats, but a fine game nonetheless. Alrighty, so Mikey Andrews comes to the plate now. He's 1 for 1 with an RBI. Dow looks the runner back, looks the runner, kicks and delivers, and he'll strike out Andrews for out number 1. His 5th K of the day. Russ Gibson up now 0 for 1. And that is going to be an error on Gonzalez. So the second baseman, Gonzalez, cannot handle it. Boots it. And Foy will move to third, so that'll put runners at the corners with the 1 down. So Brandon with a chance to add to the lead here. Help his own cause. 0 for 1. Struck out his first time up. Another error check here. And that is going to be an error on Hinton. So Hinton, the center fielder, makes an error. So that's going to be a 2-base error. So Gibson will move to third. And Brandon will get in the scoring position. And that run will be unearned. Foy scores to make it a 4-1 lead. So back-to-back errors. Get the Red Sox another run. Then bring up Jose Tartable. He is 2 for 2. I was getting Foy and Tartable mixed up. Single, a double, and scored a run. And another error check. And that's going to be 3 errors in a row on the Indians. So the Indians falling apart here. And that is going to score another run. Also unearned. Brandon moves to third. So Tartable reaches on the error. No RBI on the play. So 5-1 now. Can we go for 4 errors in a row? 5-4. Ooh. Close to another error. And nope, this time McDowell says, I'm not going to let him put it in play. Enough's enough. So after 3 errors in a row, the Red Sox scored 2 more runs. Are they going to count those as earned runs? Normally it would ask me. I guess one of them is unearned. Normally it asks you if to check the pitcher thing, but I guess it did it itself this time. All right, so Yastrzemski to lead it off. I mean, with 2 outs. Oh, it's not the end of the inning. That's why. My bad. Inning is still continuing. That's why it didn't ask me yet. So 1-3. And Yastrzemski will walk. So Yastrzemski gets his second walk of the day to load the bases. Boomer George Scott up now. 1 for 2. And here's the error, the 5-2 error. Check again. Wow. 1-1. And no error this time as Elvis is able to handle it. And fires the first to end the inning. Yes, we definitely have to check this. So let's check here. I think we might have more than just that one unearned run. I think there might be 2. But let's check here. Alright, so a double to center. Boy struck out. And then Gibson reaches on the error. So if Gibson scores, which he does later, so that's going to automatically be unearned there. So that would have been, if he hadn't reached on the error there, that would have been 2 outs and a runner on second. And then Brandon, another error there, which is going to allow Foyd to score. But that would have been a 3rd out right there. So yeah, I think we're going to have 2 unearned runs here, not just the one. So there we go. All right, so 2 unearned runs allow the Red Sox to increase the lead to 5-1 now. So Brandon benefited from those errors. Now it's a 4-run lead. He'll face Duke Sims to lead it off. Sims 0 for 1 on the day. Range play at Fenway Park, and that's going to be a single. Oh, no, it's not, as Tartable robs him. Comes in and makes a basket catch for out number 1. So fine running catch by Tartable. Gonzalez up now. 0 for 1. Range play, 1-4. And Yastrzemski will get to that one for out number 2. That brings up Larry Brown with 2 outs and the bases empty. And that's going to be hit to Smith in center. And he'll make the right catch. So the Red Sox show great defense there, and the Cleveland Indians not so much. So 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. So halfway through, it's Boston 5 and Cleveland 1. Red Sox would win this game in reality 6-2. They did drop the first game of the doubleheader. This is game number 2. So they're hoping to earn a split here and improve to 1 game over 500. They were, after this game, they were actually 1 game under 500. So they would be 2 games ahead of their pace. Sorry, one game ahead of their pace. How did we miss a game here? Oh no, we didn't. Yeah, they'd be 2 games ahead of their pace. Alright, McDowell back out on the hill, and there is action in the Indians' pen here. Petrocelli up now. 0 for 2, he struck out twice. It's a foul ball, so we'll roll again. Ooh, we have a home run check. Ooh, just barely out of the reach there, so out of that range. And that would have definitely been a home run if that would have been a 1-6, but it's not. Instead, it's a ground ball to first for out number. It's the long foul ball on that last one. So 1 out for Joe Foy. It's 1 for 1 with a walk. Doubled as an bases loaded walk and has scored a run. This time strikes out though. McDowell comes back to get him. So 2 down from Mike Andrews. 1 for 2 with an RBI. And he will strike out. So McDowell up to 8 Ks now, but trailing 5-1. So that's likely to be his last inning of work. As his spot, will be his last inning of work, as he will be removed for a pinch hitter down by 4. So let's see who was used in the actual game. Rocky Colavito and Vic DeVilo were used. Let's see who the computer picks. Vic DeVilo. We'll go with Vic DeVilo here. So Vic DeVilo on the pinch hit for McDowell. He's had a good season so far, hitting .319 with a homer and 12 runs batted in. Here's a windup in the pitch by Brandon. And that is going to be a triple. So DeVilo comes in and gets himself a triple. So May up now. He's 0 for 2 so far. So leadoff triple for the Indians. With a possible error on a throw here. And that's going to be a base hit. So DeVilo will trot home. And Yastrzemski handles it. No throwing error there as he gets it in the second. So Vic DeVilo, an RBI single, now 5-2. That brings up Max Elvis, who put the Indians on the board with a solo home run, his 5th of the season. And he will go round out to first. Scott will handle it himself as May advances to second. So one out and runner in scoring position for Chuck Hinton. 1 run already in for the Indians. Fenway Park check here, 4-2, and that's going to be a base hit. May will be held at third, down by 3. So runners at the corners for Wagner. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Oh, and that is going to be a wild pitch, and that will allow the run to come home as May trots home. So that's a 5-3 game, and Hinton will move into scoring position. So the tying run now up to Wagner represent the tying run. And that's going to be a base hit. Hinton will come in to score, and it's a 5-4 game here. Let's see, and is he going to, yeah, and he is 6 is higher than 2, so he will advance in scoring position. So action in the Red Sox pen now quickly as Gibson goes out to talk to Brandon, trying to buy some time. Pinky Higgins also comes out to join the conversation, goes back in the dugout. So Whitfield could tie the game with a base hit here. Who does not get the strikeout, and will hit a grounder to third. Foy looks the runner back and fires to first for out number 2. Duke Sims up now, 0 for 2 on the day. And he'll draw the walk. It'll bring up Gonzalez, 0 for 2. Ooh, another Fenway Park check here, 1-3, and that will be a base hit. And that is going to tie the game. And let's check it here. Nope, that 5 is not less than 4, so I'll hold there. So Brandon, who had been pretty much in command up until this inning, allows 4 runs. Inning not over yet. And that is going to be it. He is going to be pulled. So he went from a big lead to a tie ball game now, responsible for both runners on. And let's see who we're going to bring in now. Ooh, Bucky Brandon did gain his first victory of the season. Today, going the whole way, but will not make it out of the 6th here. So let's see who we're going to bring in now. We have a righty and a lefty. Righty is the most important now. Wyatt's been pitching too much, though, lately. Let's see. I'm going to bring in Galen Sis. No, he's used quite a bit, too. Let's bring in Lee Strange. So Strange is going to come in. Pitched 9 innings, is not allowed an earned run. 13 hits allowed. 4 strikeouts, no walks. So he needs to get an out here and preserve at least a tie. 3-1. He'll face Larry Brown, who's 0 for 2. Oh, error on a throw here. And there's no error, thankfully, for a 20 there. And Foy will... Wow. Foy that was a 90% chance Foy was going to commit the error, so the roll is good. And the Red Sox nightmare inning is over, as it's now 5-5. And we're going to bring in Culver and O'Donohue used in the game. We got 2 righties, so we're going to bring in George Culver. Culver will come in. So Culver comes in with an 0-1 record, 2 saves, 0.59 earned average, 15 and 30 innings pitched, 13 hits allowed, 8 strikeouts and 2 walks. So he'll face Gibson, the pitcher's position spot, and Chartable. Now a new ball game, tied at 5. Gibson 0 for 2 with a run scored. He does not draw the walk. Instead grounds out to third for out number 1. And that's going to be it for Strange. So Strange's day is over after 1 batter. And Red Sox did not use a pinch hitter today, so we're going to use our discretion here. Dalton Jones sounds as good as anybody. Yeah, 289. We'll bring in Dalton Jones. So Dalton Jones comes in, hitting 283 of the season with a homer and 4 runs batted in. 289 hitter for the actual season. He'll come up with a 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. We have a range play here. And this time, Gonzalez gets to it and makes the play for out number 2. Tartable up now. 2 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Oh, possible home run check here. Oh, no, number's too high. And Tartable has no power anyway. And flies out to the warning track for out number 3. So we'll head to the bottom of the 7th. Top of the 7th, sorry. Game tied at 5. We're going to bring in Sparky Lyle instead. So Sparky Lyle will come in. It's been a while since he's pitched. So Lyle comes in 0-1 record, 18 ERA, 2 innings pitched. So he's allowed 4 runs in 2 innings, 7 hits and 2 strikeouts. So he's had a rough start. And are we going to leave Culver in there? What do we get? 5-5? No. So Culver will be pinch hit for. Vern Fuller. Oh, I know who it was. It was, let's see. Rocky Colavito was the other pinch hitter, so we will use him. So Colavito comes off the bench. Getting a day off today, but called upon the pinch hit. 214 with 6 homers. With 6 RBIs. Had much better years back with the Indians and Tigers. Oh, the Tigers especially. Not so much with the Indians. Okay, let's see here. Alright, so 5-3. This is a special K for right-hand batters if it were 1-4, but it's not. 3-4. Oh, that's going to be a base hit because he's a lefty. So Colavito reaches. So lead off the 7th here. So the go-ahead run on. For Lee May is 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Range play at Fenway. 4-6. Oh, impossible home run. And that will be a home run. Fenway Park home run as he wraps it around the pesky pole for a 2-run homer to put the Indians ahead. Ouch. So Lyle coughs up a 2-run homer. No special K there. So lefty on lefty, and May gets one in, down and in, and hooks it out of here. Around the pesky pole. So 7-5 now. So Indians have come all the way back from a 5, I think it was 5-0. No, it wasn't 5-0. It was 5-1 deficit to take a 7-5 lead. Max Elvis up now. You get the scoring for the Indians. Started off with a solo homer. And nope, that's just out of the range here. 1-4 would have been a strikeout, but 3-3 is going to be a ground ball to short. Sally up with it over to first for out number 1. Chunk hitting 1 for 3 with a run scored. Strikes him out. Wagner up now, 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. Foul ball. Another foul ball. And no strikeout. Wow, 1-17. It's not a strikeout as it's a 19. And he'll fight it off. And he'll get himself a single. So it brings up Whitfield 0 for 3. That's a ground ball to second to end the inning. What damage is done is Lyle coughs up a 2-run homer. And let's see here. Who else was used? Donahue. That will bring to Donahue, the switch hitter, and the lefty coming up. So Donahue comes in. 0-2 record on the season with a 1 save and 4.03 earned average, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, no walks and 7 strikeouts. He'll face Smith, Yastrzemski, and Scott. Smith 1 for 3 with a run scored. 2-1. That's a ground ball to second. So the captain, the future captain, Kyle Yastrzemski, 0 for 1 with a couple of walks and runs scored. Lefty on lefty here, and another error check. And that's going to be a base hit. No, it's not a base hit. It should be a base hit there. It is. So Yastrzemski gets his first hit of the day. 1 out single. So the boomer, George Scott, he could tie it up in 1 swing of the bat. Instead, he flies out to deep right, but stays in the ballpark for out number 2. Petrocelli up now. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. It's going to be a range play. Oh, that's going to be a double. And, yep, failed range play by Wagner. Cannot get to it. So that is a range number there, not a defensive number. And that will drive home Yastrzemski. So Petrocelli gets the Red Sox a little closer, 7-6 now, an RBI double. Brings up Joe Foy, runner in scoring position. Tying run in scoring position. Possible error on the ground here. And that is going to be an error on Brown as he cannot handle it. 1 base error though, so the Petrocelli will hold at third. So runners at the corners for Mike Andrews, 1 for 3 with an RBI. Chance to tie the game up for 5. Ooh, home run possibility. 1 through 8 there, so a 1 through 12, and Mike Andrews will hit a 3-run shot. Can he do it? And he can. Mike Andrews comes through, hits this one over the Green Monster on the Lansdowne Street, and there gives the Red Sox a 9-7 lead. So Mike Andrews comes through in the clutch here with a big 3-run homer. Hit 3rd of the season. And the Red Sox pull back ahead 9-7 as O'Donohue coughs up the home run. That is going to be it for O'Donohue. And no. Nope. A lefty there. Nope. I'm just going to pick, go with Steve Bailey. Yep, that's who I would have picked anyway. So Steve Bailey comes in. 2-1 record, 6.35 earned average. He's already appeared in this series once. 17 innings pitched, 15 hits allowed. 18 walks, though, and 8 strikeouts. And foul ball. And no, Gibson does not draw the walk. Said he'll ground out to third to end the inning, mercifully. Red Sox score 4 runs to take a 9-7 lead, capped off by a 3-run homer by the second baseman, Mike Andrews. So let's check it here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Yastrzemski infield single to first. Okay, where was the error? Foy safe on the error by shortstop Larry Brown. Yeah, that was the home run there. So Foy's run will be unearned. So that is correct. Actually, hold on here. Oh, actually, that home run would have never happened. Okay, so yeah. So it's those 3 runs are unearned. So that's it. Okay, 1 and 4. That's right. Okay. That is it. So 3 unearned runs leads to the Red Sox with a 3-run, that's 2-run lead now, and that's going to be it for Lyle. So Duke, Sims, and Gonzalez. So let's see, we're going to bring in now Bill Landis. Guess we'll bring in Bill Landis. Why not? It's a lefty. 0-1 record with 1 save, 5.45 earned average, 3 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. So he'll face Sims, Gonzalez, and Brown. Sims 0 for 2 with a walk. No, does not strike out. Instead, we'll ground out to Petrocelli for out number 1. Pedro Gonzalez 1 for 3 with an RBI. Strikes out Gonzalez, so for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down in the 8th for the Indians. Oh, Larry Brown 0 for 3. Oh, and he has a possibility, 50% chance here, going deep. No, 4-6. And he flies out to deep center field, but it stays in the park. Just short of the bleachers in the triangle. Reggie Smith makes the catch for out number 3. So we head to the bottom of the 8th. Red Sox, the 2-run lead, and that's going to be it for... Landis will come out of the game now as the closer gets up for the Red Sox. So the Red Sox will go with a pinch hitter. It's Ken Paulson. Let's see here. Yeah, he only had 5 at-bats. We're not going to bring him in. George Thomas. Yeah, we'll bring in George Thomas. So George Thomas comes in to pinch hit in the pitcher's spot. 324 in the season with 9 runs batted in. Already has more. So already has more RBIs, 3 more RBIs and 34 at bats than he did in 89 at bats for the actual season. 2-5. So Billy's back out there for another inning. Flies out to left for out number 1. Jose Tardo up now, 2 for 4 with a double and a run scored. Grounds one back to the pitcher. Bailey has it over to first for out number 2. Reggie Smith 1 for 4 with a run scored. No, does not get hit by the pitch. Instead fights it off and lines out weakly to Gonzalez for out number 3. So John Wyatt is going to come in, try to get the save. He's already appeared a couple times in this series. Actually, he's done pretty well in the series. His ERA was up around 12 when he, but comes in with an 0-4 record, 2 saves, 9.75 run average, 15 2/3 innings pitched, 20 hits allowed, 10 walks and 7 strikeouts. So he's had a rough start to the 67 season. He'll face the pitcher's spot and then May and Elvis. So Bailey will come out. And yeah, he's 32 at bats. Nah. Try again. We'll go with him again. He came up twice. So Willie Smith comes in, hitting .286 on the season, 7 at bats, 219 hitter with 2 runs batted in. 4-5. 1-3, and that is going to be a fly ball to center. Smith has it. So Smith to Smith for out number 1. Lee May up now. He's 2 for 4 with a homer, 3 runs batted in. Responsible for most of a lot of Cleveland's offense today. And it's 1-1 is another possible home run. Nope, it's not. So he flies out to deep left for out number 2. So Indians down to their last out. Red Sox fans out on their feet as we've seen the lead go back and forth. Red Sox had a 4-run lead at one time, coughed it up, had a 2-run deficit, and then pulled ahead thanks to Mike Andrews' 3-run blast. 6-3. It's going to be Max Elvis who homered to put the Indians on the board. And he will strike out to end the game, so Wyatt gets him swinging. And the Red Sox hang on and win by a score of 9-7. The Red Sox hang on and win 9-7. Sparky Lyle gets the win, even though he was copped up a 2-run homer. It goes to 1-1. O'Donohue gets the loss, 0-3. John Wyatt gets his 3rd save of the season. Home runs by Mike Andrews, his 3rd, the game winner there. And Lee May his 1st, and Max Elvis his 5th. So let's take a look at the box score. Bucky Brandon lost just 5 2/3 innings, but letting up 6 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks and a strikeout. Lee Strange pitched just a 1/3 of an inning. Sparky Lyle, but that was a big out at the time. Sparky Lyle coughs up a 2-run homer, but gets the win. Pitches an inning, allows 3 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned. Bill Landis pitches an inning, striking out a batter, and John Wyatt notches his 3rd save of the season, pitching a scoreless 9th. Sam McDowell, 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs. Only 3 of them were earned, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Indians were very bad defensively today, committing 3 errors. George Culver pitched an inning of scoreless relief. Donahue takes the loss, pitches 2/3 innings, allowing 3 hits, 4 runs, 1 of them earned. Steve Bailey pitches just a 1 1/3 innings. So the player of the game, you can look at the stats here. I'm trying to keep this under an hour. Mike Andrews, 2 for 4 with a run scored and 4 runs batted in. Player of the game, definitely. Yastrzemski was 1 for 2 with 2 runs scored, 2 walks, so average up to 350 now. Lee May had a good day, 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored and 3 runs batted in with a homer for the Indians. So that is it. So thank you for joining me. It's been Eric from Higher Ground Gaming, and we'll be back with the game from May 22nd of 1967. So take care, God bless, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.